Let me tell you something, and I need you to really listen. Sometimes love doesn't come with a loud announcement. It doesn't walk in with fireworks, big speeches, or dramatic confessions. No, real love, it shows up quietly, subtly, in the small things. And God is saying today, if you're paying attention, you'll see it. There's a small sign, but it speaks louder than words ever could. Love doesn't always arrive in grand gestures or dramatic moments. More often, it reveals itself quietly in the small details that most people overlook. When a woman starts remembering the little things about you, how you take your tea, the story you once told about your childhood, or the way you react when you're stressed, that's not something casual. That's not surface level interest. That's emotional investment growing deeper with time. Anyone can listen in a conversation, but not everyone truly pays attention. And there's a big difference between hearing someone and actually remembering them. When her feelings begin to deepen, she doesn't just respond to what you say in the moment, she stores it. She holds on to your words because in her heart they matter. You might casually mention your favorite food one day, and weeks later she brings it up or surprises you with it. You might talk about a goal or a dream you have, and she checks in on it later, asking how it's going. These aren't random acts. These are signs that you've taken a meaningful place in her mind and heart. People don't remember details like that unless they care on a deeper level. What makes this even more powerful is that she often does it without trying to impress you. It becomes natural for her. She notices the shift in your mood even when you try to hide it. She remembers what makes you smile and what makes you withdraw. She pays attention to your energy, not just your words. And that level of awareness doesn't come from obligation. It comes from connection. It shows that she is emotionally tuned into you in a way that goes beyond basic attraction. In the early stages, someone might be interested, curious, or even excited. But that kind of attention fades quickly if it's not backed by something real. When love begins to grow, it becomes consistent. It becomes intentional, even in the smallest ways. She doesn't just remember because she has a good memory. She remembers because you matter to her. Your experiences, your likes, your dislikes, your struggles, they all become important because they are a part of you. And the truth is, these small details often reveal more than big romantic gestures ever could. Anyone can plan something impressive or say the right words in the moment. But remembering the little things requires presence. It requires genuine care. It shows that she's not just focused on what she can get from you, but on who you truly are. That's where real love starts to take root, in understanding, in attentiveness, and in the quiet effort to know someone deeply. So when you notice that she remembers things you barely recall mentioning, don't brush it off as something small. That's a reflection of how she feels about you. It's a sign that in her world, you're becoming significant. And in a world where attention is often temporary and shallow, someone choosing to remember you in detail is something rare. It means her feelings aren't just passing, they're growing slowly but surely into something real and meaningful. Not everyone expresses love through words, and sometimes the deepest feelings are never spoken out loud. You might be waiting to hear, "I love you," thinking that those 3 words are the ultimate confirmation of how she feels. But the truth is, real emotions don't always come wrapped in perfect sentences. They show up in actions, consistent, quiet, undeniable actions that reveal what's truly in her heart. When a woman genuinely cares about you, she doesn't always need to say it. She shows it in the way she treats you, the way she prioritizes you, and the way she stands by you without being asked. You'll notice it in the little things she does daily, the way she checks on you when you've had a long day, even if she's busy herself, the way she listens carefully when you speak, not just to respond, but to understand, the way she supports your goals, encourages your growth, and reminds you of your strength when you start doubting yourself. These actions may seem simple, but together they form a powerful message: you matter to her. And when someone consistently shows up for you like that, it carries more weight than any words ever could. Sometimes people say things they don't truly mean. Words can be easy, especially when emotions are high or when someone wants to create an impression. But actions require effort. They require intention. They require showing up even when it's not convenient. So when she continues to be there for you day after day without needing recognition or praise, that's not something to overlook. That's a clear reflection of genuine care and growing love. You might also notice that her support doesn't disappear when things get difficult. Anyone can be present during good times, but her real feelings become clear when challenges arise. When you're stressed, confused, or struggling, she doesn't pull away. She leans in. She offers comfort, reassurance, and stability. She tries to understand your situation rather than judge it. And in those moments, when she chooses to stand beside you instead of stepping back, her actions speak louder than any declaration of love ever could. There's also a level of consistency in how she treats you. It's not something that appears one day and disappears the next. It becomes a pattern, a rhythm. You can rely on her presence, her attention, and her care. And consistency like that doesn't come from temporary feelings. It comes from something deeper, something more meaningful that continues to grow over time. It shows that her emotions aren't based on mood or convenience, but on a genuine connection she feels with you. What makes this even more powerful is that she often doesn't realize how much she's revealing through her actions. She's not performing or trying to prove anything. She's simply being herself, and in doing so, she's showing you exactly where you stand in her life. Her time, her effort, her patience, and her understanding all point in the same direction. You are important to her. So if you're paying attention, you won't need to wait for words to understand her feelings. Her actions will tell you everything you need to know. They'll show you the depth of her care, the sincerity of her intentions, and the truth of her emotions. And when someone consistently shows you love through what they do, not just what they say, that's something real. That's something rare, and that's something worth valuing. Real love goes far beyond wanting someone's attention. It reaches into a place where their well-being becomes just as important as your own. When a woman truly cares about you, her focus isn't just on how often you call, how much time you spend together, or what you can give her in the moment. Instead, her concern shifts toward your happiness, your peace of mind, and your personal growth. She begins to look at your life as a whole, not just the part that involves her, And that's where you start to see the difference between surface level interest and something much deeper. You'll notice it in the way she responds to your struggles. When you're going through something difficult, she doesn't make it about herself or how it affects her. She genuinely wants to understand what you're dealing with and find ways to support you. She listens with patience, offers comfort when you need it, and gives you space when that's what's best for you. Her goal isn't to control the situation or demand your attention. It's to see you in a better place mentally and emotionally. That kind of care comes from a place of sincerity, not selfishness. As her feelings grow, she also becomes invested in your growth as a person. She encourages you to chase your goals, even if it means you'll be busy or distracted at times. She wants to see you succeed, not just for what it brings to the relationship, but because it fulfills you as an individual. Instead of holding you back or competing for your time, she supports your ambitions. She reminds you of your potential when you start to doubt yourself and pushes you to become the best version of who you are. That's not something someone does. If they're only focused on getting attention, it's something they do when they truly care about your future. There's also a quiet way she protects your peace. She avoids unnecessary drama and doesn't create problems just to feel important. She respects your boundaries and understands that you need balance in your life. When conflicts arise, she doesn't aim to win arguments. She aims to resolve them in a way that keeps both of you emotionally stable. Her intention is not to disturb your peace, but to contribute to it. Being around her starts to feel safe, calm, and supportive rather than stressful or draining. What makes this kind of love powerful is that it's consistent and selfless. She doesn't only show care when it benefits her or when things are going well. She remains present even during difficult times when it requires more patience, understanding, and effort. She doesn't disappear when you need her the most. Instead, she stays grounded and continues to show that your well-being matters to her, regardless of the circumstances. Over time, you begin to realize that her presence in your life adds value in ways that go beyond romance. She becomes someone who uplifts you, someone who brings clarity when you feel lost, and someone who genuinely wants to see you at peace. Her care is not conditional on constant attention or validation. It's rooted in a deeper connection where your happiness becomes a priority for her, just as hers should be for you. So when you see this in her, when she's focused on your peace, your growth, and your overall well-being, don't mistake it for something ordinary. That's real love in its purest form. It's not loud, it's not demanding, and it's not selfish. It's steady, it's supportive, and it's deeply genuine. And when someone loves you like that, they're not just trying to be part of your life, they're trying to make your life better. The biggest mistake people make when it comes to love is waiting for it to be obvious. They expect loud declarations, dramatic moments, and undeniable proof that leaves no room for doubt. But the truth is, real love rarely shows up that way. It doesn't always demand attention or announce itself with grand gestures. More often, it moves quietly, revealing itself through subtle signs that are easy to overlook if you're not paying close attention. And that's why so many people miss something real. They're too focused on what love is supposed to look like instead of recognizing what it actually feels like. When a woman truly cares about you, the signs might not seem extraordinary at first. They can appear small, almost insignificant, but they carry deep meaning. The way she checks on you without being asked, the way she notices changes in your mood, the way she makes an effort to be there for you even when it's inconvenient, these are not random actions. They are quiet expressions of something growing stronger beneath the surface. But if you're only looking for big, obvious signals, you might dismiss these moments and fail to see their true value. Part of the problem is that subtle love requires awareness. It requires you to slow down and observe, to feel rather than just look. In a world where everything is fast and attention is short, people often overlook what doesn't immediately stand out. They confuse intensity with depth and noise with sincerity. But real love isn't always intense in a loud way. It's steady, consistent, and present in ways that don't demand recognition. It's in the effort she makes when no one is watching, in the care she shows without expecting anything in return. Ignoring these signs can lead to regret. You might think something is missing simply because it's not being expressed the way you expected. You might assume she doesn't feel deeply because she hasn't said the words or made a dramatic move. But in reality, her feelings could be right in front of you, showing themselves in ways that are genuine and real. And if you fail to recognize that, you risk overlooking someone who truly values you. There's also a tendency to take subtle love for granted. Because it's not loud or demanding, it can feel like it will always be there. But that's not guaranteed. When someone consistently shows care, attention, and support, and those efforts go unnoticed or unappreciated, it can slowly create distance. Even the most genuine feelings need to be acknowledged. When you recognize her efforts and value them, it strengthens the connection. It shows that you see her, that you understand what she's giving, and that you don't consider it ordinary. Learning to recognize subtle signs of love changes the way you approach relationships. You become more aware, more appreciative, and more grounded in what truly matters. Instead of chasing unrealistic expectations, you start valuing consistency, effort, and sincerity. You begin to understand that love isn't about constant excitement or dramatic proof. It's about the quiet presence of someone who genuinely cares about you. So don't ignore what seems small. Don't wait for something louder or more obvious before you decide something is real. Pay attention to how she shows up, how she treats you, and how she makes you feel over time, because sometimes the most powerful kind of love is the one that doesn't try to prove itself. It simply exists, steady and sincere. And if you recognize it, value it, and protect it, you'll realize that what seemed subtle at first was actually something deeply meaningful all along. In the end, love isn't always loud, flashy, or easy to see. God shows us that the deepest connections often reveal themselves through small signs, quiet actions, genuine care, and consistent attention. When she remembers the little details about you, when her actions reflect more than words ever could, when she genuinely cares about your happiness and growth, and when her love is subtle yet steadfast, these are the real markers of a heart that is truly invested. Too many people chase grand gestures or wait for obvious declarations, missing the quiet, steady presence that matters most. Recognize these signs, value them, and never take them for granted. True love is patient, observant, and sincere. And when you pay attention, you'll see that sometimes the smallest gestures carry the deepest meaning. Appreciate it, nurture it, and let it flourish, because real love like this is rare, intentional, and worth every bit of your heart.